Welcome back to Show Me What I've Been Missing, your pop culture podcast that says, hey, look at that thing. I'm one of your hosts, Elizabeth Stanton. With me is my other host.
Chris Mack. What's up, guys?
It's our post-Christmas episode, so happy holidays if you celebrate.
Merry Chrysler.
Merry Crisis. Merry Crisis is one of my favorite things in the world. It cracks me up so much.
I
Christmas.
miss Vine.
Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Chrysler.
Yeah. TikTok never should have let things get to the 10-minute mark. It should have always been 15 seconds max.
Yeah, but they couldn't do it because whoever created Vine would be like, "Oh, you stole our thing, and now we got to sue you." And so
because now we got 10-minute TikToks with nothing but misinformation. It's bad. But I did see.
And it's an interesting TikTok, but then after about 2 or 3 minutes, it kind of loses steam. So you're just like, why am I still watching this? You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready to. Yeah, you just scroll. It's like, all right, you lost steam. You had me in 2 minutes, and you lost the whole point. So
I did see one thing though, where someone posted a tip. You know how everyone hates how the microwave beeps, especially if it's the middle of the night. There's apparently, I don't know, on every model you can just push and hold down the 2 and it'll turn the beep off. And someone tried it and was blown away. And I was like, this is why the government wants to ban this fucking app, because it's revealing the secrets.
But okay, here's the thing though. But it's almost like you're cheating yourself out of a life experience, right? Because the beep is it's like a life experience that we all supposed to have, right? It's like you're trying not to wake somebody up. You gotta hit it before it turns, for the one goes down.
Everyone needs a little discomfort. Things are too comfortable.
Yeah. It's sometimes it's a good thing too, because right? It's like a timer, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're like, all right, I'm gonna put this thing in the microwave and I'm gonna go try to do this task real quick and see if I can beat it. But if there's no beat, you don't really know if you beat the time or not. You're just gonna put back and see that. That too. What if you forget
your food?
Yeah, that's true.
Funnily enough, this podcast is not about TikTok at all. It's about shows and what you missed out on with them. And in our case, we're going through. I think this is actually not recorded on the day after Christmas, despite our perhaps slightly tired appearances. This is weeks in advance. This is multitasking. Get it all done before the actual holiday, so we can totally take a break and not do anything. But the actual point of the show is we're going through stuff we've not seen in pop culture before, or one or the other of us. And we're doing Sex and the City from start to finish. I've seen it too many times. Chris has seen it not really at all. And we're deep in season 6, episode 8, The Catch.
Yes, and by the way, if you're still watching already, like the damn video. You're still here.
Subscribe.
You're obviously gonna watch some more of it. You're at this point, so. Just go ahead and give us a little like.
Ignore your family and comment on it.
Yes. Yes.
The Catch. The Catch. Yes. We're post burger, posted. It's all over and done with. So now Carrie is single again.
So I am trying to figure out how much time has it been since the last episode, because in the last episode, she had just got, I guess she had been engaged for a little while, right? Because it was 2 episodes that he proposed, right? That Harry proposed to Charlotte. 2 episodes ago.
2 episodes ago was the proposal, but the proposal and then the next episode, that was all within the next day. So the morning Carrie wakes up and finds the post-it, Charlotte's engaged. So this is a couple months down the road, I think, at least.
Okay, I was imagining, because she's getting. I mean, we went straight from she hadn't even she just got engaged, and now we're at the wedding, we're at rehearsal. I was very confused. I was like, wait, what? Are they just having a a quick wedding, or is this some time has passed? Because again, this show doesn't really like tell you how much time has passed because it's all almost always the same season. It's always
that's always been there. I read ages ago that's their goal, is that they were kind of keeping it in perpetual spring. But I will say, as we get further into this final season, we do actually experience winter in the show, like proper snowy winter.
Okay.
Which I think
because I was just confused because it just seemed like there was such a big jump from her being engaged, and now we're 2 days away from the wedding in this episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was pretty wild.
I feel like it's a few months, and I mean, I guess bear in mind Charlotte is planning a smaller wedding with Harry, so not as like big and over the top, so they were probably able to like move it along a little faster. But
okay. Yeah, I mean that part I get. It was just like I was just confused for a second when I was watching. I was like, wait, did we miss an episode?
Yeah.
How are we already in the wedding time? Like because when it came, they were talking about the rehearsal dinner. I was like, wait, rehearsal dinner is before the wedding. Wait, we're about to see a wedding, and then the next thing was the wedding. I was like, whoa, whoa, such a big jump.
So, do you want to start with anyone in particular, or we don't have to end with Carrie? I feel like, by the way, this time, if you don't want to, because her whole trapeze thing is silly.
Yeah, I kind of want to start with her actually.
Let's start with Carrie then.
Yeah, let's do a reverse there. Yeah. Anyway, you know what? You know who the star of this episode was? It was Charlotte. She was the.
This is Charlotte's. This is Charlotte's episode.
Yeah, Charlotte's episode. So let's go with start with Carrie, and then I think we should go with Carrie, Samantha,
Miranda, Charlotte.
Yeah,
I like that plan. So Carrie is taking like trapeze lessons for an article, not for her paper, I should point out, for New York Magazine, which is I actually love New York Magazine. Vulture is like my favorite pop culture website. But it's all jokes and fun, and Stanford's there like cheering her on, and at the end of the lesson they're like, okay, you're gonna do a catch with your instructor, but guess what, she can't let go of her trapeze bar thing because trust issues.
Yes.
Did you get it? Did you understand the metaphor, Chris?
I got the metaphor, but also,
did you?
Who wouldn't have those trust issues? Just like a brand new person.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what they're trying to do. Is like she doesn't, it's like a new person.
But he's also a professional, so
professionals fuck up sometimes, all right? Listen. Wait. I'm gonna put it to you like this. They're professional basketball players, but sometimes they miss shots, do they not?
Yeah. All right.
That's all I'm saying.
That's fair point.
Fair point. I wouldn't trust that either. But, I mean, here's the thing, though. Also, to add to that, there is a safety net, and she got like the wild harness on, so it's like if you fall, you're good. Like, I mean, everything has to literally crumble for you to be like, oh no, I died. Yeah. So I'll give you that much. Like, yes, it is very much safe. Yeah, for her to be like, Anywho,
so that's the issue there, and while she's there at brunch, she's talking a little bit about the trapeze and says, "Oh, I couldn't let go and do the catch thing." And while they're there, Harry and his friend Howie stop by for the wedding. They've got wedding stuff for Charlotte, but more so, Harry is trying to set Carrie up with his friend who's from out of town, like he lives in Portland. Yeah. So he's only there for the wedding.
Go ahead. Yeah, no, I was gonna say, played by comedian Brian Callen.
Yeah, except he's gotten in trouble, so we probably shouldn't really bring him up that much.
Oh,
just saying.
If he is, it's in the credits. He's there.
Well, yeah, we're not denying he exists or anything like that, but just
yeah,
I've never been that partial to him, regardless of
No, but the thing is, I've met him a couple of times, and I mean personally too, as far as like comedy goes, I never really kind of got his style for me, you know what I mean? But somebody likes it, you know,
Yeah.
he's made, you know, he's
He was
on a
on
bunch
that
of TV
one.
shows.
Yeah, he was on that one show with the school, but it was set in the 90s. It's the Goldberg spinoff.
Yes. It's not the Goldbergs, it was a spinoff of it,
Yeah, it's like
but I can't remember
school.
the
It's not
I did
school.
I did an episode of it.
You did? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we were playing. I was with Bill Goldberg, the wrestler, and uh, we were playing flag football, but it was like flag football, but like an intense, you know,
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
At least that's
yeah.
what it was in when we actually did it. It wasn't that intense. Like, you know, they had stunt people on there for like the real hits and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
it was supposed to be just like an over exaggerated flag football game where somebody took it a little too seriously.
Oh, the show is called School. That was right. Okay, cool.
Schools, yes, that's
Yeah.
what it's called. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, he was the coach on there. I think he got the boot after he was
Probably. Yeah. I mean, even though it all turned out to be unsubstantiated, you know, they can't really.
Can't mess with. Hey, if they
Can't really.
fired those GMA anchors for cheating with each other consensually, ABC don't fuck around, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, you get. I mean, here's the thing. Regardless of what the outcome is, the fact that it's out there is just not good press, and
Yeah.
most corporations now are just like, we're just gonna let you go.
Yeah.
Even no matter what, you can be completely innocent or guilty, whatever. The fact that it came out, you're gone.
Yeah.
Which I ain't mad at. I mean, we talking about, you know, millions, billions of dollars. I mean, you're gonna do what you gotta do to protect your business. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
don't fuck
So
up.
anyway, he's the friend that Harry is trying to connect Carrie with for the wedding. He's like, he's a good guy. You too. I see it, which is so sweet, Harry. I love that he's like, I think he's a good one.
Right.
And Carrie and they leave, and Carrie's and Howie gives her his business card because they're like bantery, funny, cute, kind of.
Well, I wouldn't say they are. He's throwing it out there. She's kind of like, nah, I'm good, appreciate it. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
She's very reluctant about it, and I think part of it is I don't think she's really that attracted to him, and two, you know, she's still trying to get over the whole burger thing.
Yeah, and just
so,
in general.
Yeah.
So she does take his card, and then she's like, they're like, he's cute, he's funny, you should like get with him. And she's like, he's only in town for a week, and they're like, yeah, so just hook up with him, just have some fun. And she's like, I don't want to do what she calls expiration dating, where like it's gonna not go anywhere. She doesn't want to do a fling.
Yes. Question: have you ever done that?
Nope.
Expiration date? No.
No.
Would you ever do that?
Probably not, to be honest. Your girl's committed.
No, I feel that. Yeah, I mean, I get that. Yeah,
because your girl gets attached.
Yeah, well, she even says it too, right? Because she was even saying it like when she was writing the article that like, when you're young, it's like fun things like that kind of intrigue you, but like when you get older, it just becomes more scary. And I do think that because like, yeah, definitely in my 20s, I've had like some expiration date experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, now I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like now I definitely wouldn't do that. Like if I don't see this go anywhere, I'm not even gonna like try. I'm like, all right, see you later. This is fun. Great to meet you, but this is it.
And I've had like someone encourage me to similarly sort of like, oh, even if you don't really know if you like are gonna be that into them in the long run, like maybe go have some fun if you want, if you think like you want to. But I kind of know in like my heart of hearts, like that's just not quite my style. Although I did send speaking of TikToks from earlier, I was skimming one, and there was a girl who was like, people ask like, why book a trip to Ireland by yourself? Which is, I'm planning a big Ireland Scotland trip for myself in 2023, and I'm gonna go by myself. I don't want to try to wait for other people, all that good stuff. And so the girl was like, why do it by yourself? And she's like, and I tell people it's because I'm an introvert, but I'm trying to get outside of my boundaries. What the actual truth is that I've read too many romance novels, and I'm convinced when I get there and I'm on my road trip and I pull into a pub and go to use the bathroom, and the manager's go say, toilets are for customers only. Love, I can't do the accent right now because I'm talking too fast, but she's like, and then we hit it off and we're whining and dining and 69ing, and then eventually I do have to leave Ireland, but guess what, my heart can't take it. She just goes on and on and on with her whole romance novel, and then she's like, and then I come back to Ireland at the end and we birth enough children to staff our own pub. like my new favorite TikTok. Wow. And it is 100% my goal, my plans.
She went through a whole life.
A whole life in a TikTok. Yeah. But it's also absolutely my dream. Yeah, I would love to go.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. Like, here's the thing. I don't care what anybody says, man or a woman. Like, a nice like vacation turn into like find your true love.
Oh, the dream.
Who's passing that up? No one's passing that up. No one's passing that up.
I'll let you come to America for a green card if we get to stay together. I don't give a fuck.
Come on. No one's passing that up. I don't care. Even the most crabbity, crouchity person is not passing that up. All right.
Yeah. So Carrie decides to also sort of have fun, somewhat along those lines. She takes another trapeze lesson, and then at the rehearsal dinner, she sees him again. And Samantha and Miranda are like, come on, just go have fun, like go just try it. And she talks to him again. They're flirty, and she goes, how bad could it be? Terrible, as it turns out. He's horrible in bed. He's like jackhammering her and making the headboard hit the wall, but not in a good way, like not good.
Making her head hit the headboard and hit the wall.
Yeah,
like it was really bad. Like, because she was like saying that, having sex like teenagers, where he didn't know what he was doing, and she didn't say anything about it, which is perfect joke. Like, that's a great written joke, because that's precisely what it is. Like, why are we even having sex with teenagers? We shouldn't be, because we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah.
Secondly, but I was like, because after that happened, I was gonna ask you, like, okay, if you were somehow convinced, because she was very reluctant. I mean, they really spent time like kind of peer pressuring her into doing this. Yeah. Now, put yourself in Carrie's shoes. If your friends had peer pressured you into hooking up with a guy and it was this bad, would you be more mad at him or more mad at them?
I think I'd be more mad at them.
Correct. That is the correct answer.
Yeah, because it's like, you told me to try this, and I hated it, and now I can't. It's not forever, but in the moment, it'll be like, I can't trust your advice.
It kind of is. Wait. It is kind of. It is forever. You think she's ever gonna forget that night? She's never gonna forget that.
I mean, her neck muscles are fucked up from it.
Yeah, she literally woke up the next day and she couldn't stand up straight, and not in the good way.
Yeah, not in a fun, like, we're not walking side to side Ariana Grande style, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
She's
never forgiven me.
She's like, when Charlotte calls her about Carrie is like lying flat on the floor to try to fix her like neck pain. Like, who among us hasn't done that? I've done that when I've slept.
Like a massager, right? She had like a massager or something.
I pulled like a neck shoulder muscle recently, by the way, putting my hair in a fucking ponytail. That's how old I'm getting. I was so mad. It hurt so
bad. Welcome to 30, folks. This happens to you all the time.
Seriously, welcome to your 30s, everybody. And I did it, and when it happened, I was like, no. I was like, I just felt everything rip and like just go. I was like, no. I think I had like, I tried to go somewhere with like Work Crush that week or something. There was something coming up where I was like, oh yeah, I can't be sore right now. This sucks.
Dude, I pulled a muscle one time, literally just like leaning down to tie my shoe. I was like, I'm not even like, there's no resistance here. Why? Like, I was going down.
You're in shape. Like, I don't,
that's what I'm saying though. That's what I'm saying though. Like, that's 30 for you. Your body
if you do follow Chris on his social media, which we'll plug at the end, and it is also on screen as always. Chris is always posting his workouts. Power to you. Yes. Love to see it. So it is shocking that you pull a muscle.
That's what happens when you're in your 30s. It don't matter how good a shape you're in, how long you can run. The simplest things can fuck your whole day up. Okay?
Seriously.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god. So poor Carrie has to go to the wedding like hunched over. She cannot like stand up straight. Like Stanford is helping her along. He's like, come on, Granny. So funny.
No, let me tell you something. Carrie may be a bad person, but she didn't deserve that.
No,
she got her
no.
justice.
She got the
Burger
justice
breaking
with
up
the
with her
Post-it.
Yeah, like deserve that. That was that. No one deserves that.
No.
To be honest.
Oh. So she sees Howie there, and he's like complimentary. I think he tries to kind of give her a kiss, and he's like, "Hey, I've got a hotel suite. You know, I'm only here one more night after the wedding." And she's like, "Oh, well, you know what? We'll see." And he's like,
"Let's stop it right there. Let's stop it right here." Okay, all right.
How did they leave things in the morning?
Okay, that's a great question, because that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is like, is Carrie kind of to blame for this? Because how can he be so delusional into thinking that last night was like a good time between them?
Some guys, though, do not pay attention and think they're amazing.
Come on, fam. Come on, fam. Come on, fam. Like, here's the thing. Even if you're not really paying attention, there's something in your gut that kind of lets you know if, like, it was good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's an energy that you feel like, because there's no way that, you know, after the sex was done, that she was like, you know, affectionate and like cuddling with him and all this other stuff. Like, I just don't picture any of that happening. So there's no way that he could be this in his head, like, oh yeah, this is the greatest romance of all time. No,
I don't know. No. He proves to be just kind of unhinged, though. I think at the end of the day, like as we see for the rest of the wedding, he turns out to be. Yeah, I think he's just nutty, because, you know, when she says "we'll see," he goes, "I know what that means." You know, it means no. And she's like, "Well, you were just visiting. I kind of thought we were maybe just doing like a one night stand kind of fun thing." And he's like, he like pictured way more, apparently, because he's like, "If I had known you were just using me, I wouldn't have made love to you like that."
First of all, that was not love. That was not love, sir. I don't know.
That was not love.
I don't know what your definition of making love is, but none of that. There was no love in that fucking sex, sir. You can't even call that fucking. That was like, it was like, I mean, it was almost like a fight. It was
so aggressive.
It was super aggressive. Oh man, but that's why I love the joke too, because she was like, you know, last night she was like, it was like a jackhammer. It was like he was like masturbating, but with a woman instead of his hand. I was like, yes,
yeah,
that was a solid joke, because honestly, here's the thing. As a woman, I pray that you never have to experience like walking in on a man masturbating, because
I pray for
you will be traumatized. The hate, the hatred of which sometimes some men masturbate, it's
I've always I think it's from Chappelle's show. There's like they did like a Sesame Street thing, parody thing, but one of the puppets, I forget what the song, but the line that always sticks out of my head is, "I beat my dick like it owes me money." It's burned in my brain.
Let me tell you something. I mean, here's the thing. I know there's videos on the internet of men masturbating. Apparently, somebody's watching it because it's got, you know, they got views and shit like that. But let me tell you something. It's definitely different watching it on the screen than like seeing it in real life. You never want to see that. Any lady out there, don't try to walk in on your man. Don't ever try to like catch him in the act. It's gonna fuck you up more than you fuck him up. I just want you to know that.
Yeah.
Just want you to know that.
Yeah, it's not.
You will suffer.
You definitely don't want to. You don't want to see that kind of thing.
You don't want to see it.
Yeah.
You don't want to see it. You'll be concerned. You'll probably call. You'll try to check him into a mental health facility if you see a man. I'll tell you, it's furious. It's not sexy. It's not sexy.
Yeah.
Aggressive.
Guys gotta go to therapy, for the love of God. Please go to therapy. Begging you. I'm begging you. Your dick's begging you to go.
For sure, it definitely is.
Please go to therapy.
Actually, let me tell you something. If you walk in on your man and you don't see no kind of like lotion or lubricant around, you should definitely. If he's out there dry rubbing, you better go. You better leave him. He'll beat you.
Oh my God.
He will hit you. If he's a dry man, oof, that's a lot of trauma in there. That's a lot of. Literal lunatic.
Oh
Hide all the weapons in the house. Don't ever leave him. He's gonna kill you. You're stuck for life.
Oh my.
Anyway.
This guy, this guy, he's as unhinged as we were just saying, because during the ceremony, like it's all lovely, but then like Carrie kind of looks over at him and he's like mouthing like "fuck you" to her. Right? Is that what he was mouthing?
Yeah. I was like, whoa.
I was like, Jesus,
whoa.
dude.
Oh. Whoa.
And then he gives. Oh, go ahead.
No. I just, okay. The only thing I was going to say is just that this actually, now that you're saying that, because I'm like, dude, there's no way that sex could have been so good to you that you were like so like infatuated with her to the point where you're so angry that she didn't want to see you again. Like, so yeah, clearly this guy's just unhinged. He's just like, he's already basically, because I feel like if they'd have hung out again this night, he probably would have ended the night with saying "I love you." Like he would have for sure loved her, for sure.
Yeah, because he gets up and he does his best man speech, and it takes like such a left turn so quick. He like immediately starts cursing, and then he's complaining how hard it is out there dating, and people out there are a bitch. And he concludes it with
people are a bitch.
And he like is so pointedly like looks at Carrie, and he concludes with, "Love means never having to say you used me for sex." just like bonkers. Like Harry gets the mic away from him, and then thank God.
You know what's even funnier about it? What's even funnier about it is like, okay, so I mean, because we don't know. It kind of just jumps from like them having like a short little conversation at the party, and then like they're in bed. So like, I'm just wondering, like, what if he's like so mad at her for like having sex with him? It's like, if you were expecting it to go, the distance and go, be together, why'd you have sex with her, sir?
Yeah.
That's the question you got to ask. It's like, you can't be mad at her saying like, "Oh, she used me for sex." It's like, well, you had sex with her. You could have not had sex with her. You could have been like, "Hey, this was a great night. I'm going to drop you off at home. I would love to see you again. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But, I don't want to do this tonight." It's possible. It's crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but it's possible.
Well,
you can't turn down sex as a man. It's okay.
Yeah. I think we've concluded though that this guy crazy.
Right, for sure. Yeah. Yeah,
so sure, it's the wedding is on to the reception, and it's horror time, and we'll get to that more in detail in a minute. But we see him on the dance floor doing some high kicks and like really working it, shaking it. And Carrie asks Stanford, she's like, "Do you think everyone here knows I slept with that guy?" And he goes, "Yeah, you're a big horror." Little pun. I didn't hate it this time.
I liked it.
Made me
also, Stanford was looking like, I don't know why, but he was looking really adorable in that scene with his little cake and like how he like walks up, like his little cheeky smile, like coming up to Carrie, like, "Hey, what's going on? How you feeling after that toast?"
Yeah. But it all culminates with Carrie returning to the trapeze and finally attempting to catch, which she doesn't quite pull off. I think she misses it, but the point is she tried. She tried, and she didn't get hurt. And who's there? Who's there for her? Her girls. Do you get it now? Do you get what's happening, Chris? I'm up on the mic. Do you understand what is happening? Are you grasping the metaphor? I'm worried it's not clear enough.
No, I mean, I've never had a message shoved so far down my face without me asking for it. It was so much of it's like, oh look, she didn't get hurt. She didn't get, she didn't get the catch, but she,
and her friends are still there for her too.
Like Jesus. Ugh. And she still had the safety net, which was her friends, right? Because the shot was she falls into the net, and who's right under the net? All her friends cheering her on. It's like, all right, Jesus. What is this, a fucking after school special? Take it down.
As long as you're clear on what happened.
Listen, the only way I wouldn't be clear is if I didn't watch it.
If you watch it with your eyes and ears closed.
Literally closed, yeah. Try to watch it like it was Braille or something. That's the only way I would have missed this shit. It was so fucking important.
Yeah,
Jesus.
like, look, I understand metaphor and symbolism is an important part of storytelling. It's significant. It means a lot. Subtlety never hurt anyone either though. You know?
Yeah, it didn't. Not at all. It never hurts,
Mm-hmm.
But it's fine.
It's
it
fine.
was. It's
the nature of the show. It's all good.
That way. So like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hit you in the face with metaphor. Sometimes it is more subtle. Just this episode was not.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But who's also kind of dealing with metaphor in her own way is Samantha.
Yes.
When we first see her, she is trying to get herself zipped into a dress. The zipper gets stuck, and Carrie's like, it's one of the frustrating parts of living alone. No one is there to get you in or out of your clothes like that. And amen. I don't know what they got to do differently. They got to stop putting zippers in the back of shit. It can be so tricky. I have a solution though. Weird. So if you're a dress wearer of any kind, I have a solution. It doesn't always work, but it often works. You take it and you turn it backwards, zip it up the front, turn the dress around so the zipper's in the back, and then put your arms in the sleeves or whatever you got to do, or straps. 90% of the time.
It's his name though. That's a good solution, but it doesn't work all the time because it also depends on the fit.
Totally depends on the cut of the dress.
Yeah, if it's a tight fitting dress, that ain't happening.
No.
You're gonna be funny. Yeah. And
in
like
your head,
Samantha the tight fitting one, so that method worked.
The method was
more like a sundress, a zipped up sundress. Then maybe that could work.
Because I have definitely tried it on a tighter fit. Because in your head, you're like, if the bodice fits your torso, right?
Mm-hmm.
In theory, if you put it on backwards, it should just zip up the same way, but like it doesn't. I don't know what the difference is. I've taken sewing lessons. I haven't gotten that far in the process of garment fitting to understand it in detail. But yeah, that's my one trip. Actually, that How to Be Single movie had the little gag where Dakota Johnson rigged up like a whole like pulley system with a magnet on it, and then you attach the magnet to the zipper and you can pull the zipper up on the dress with like using a magnet and string. The only problem is getting out of it. I don't think it would quite work the same way, but like, it was still interesting. But the point of it is Samantha calls Smith to ask him to come over and do her. And it's mostly so she could get out of the dress. I guess she was stuck in the dress was the bigger issue. She couldn't like unzip it the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So
that is kind of, and I don't know. I mean, I can't say as far as like getting in or out of clothes because I'm a guy, so most of my clothes are pretty simple. But I will say it is nice, like not living alone. If somebody just like menial tasks like washing dishes or like doing laundry, if I could have something tasks. Like, oh man, you don't realize how much of a relief that is until someone's actually doing it. And you're like, oh yeah, I don't have to do this bullshit right now, and I can do, or like if there's like a day where it's like all chores and you can like split them in half. Yeah. Say, oh shit, I only have to do 4 things instead of 18 different things. Great, this is amazing.
That's the dream. That's when I bag that Irishman. I don't think he's just gonna like loaf around once he's got me, man. Like. Homeboy's gonna be doing some chores. He
has to.
I am also going to be doing chores, but he is.
No, I'm just saying.
Going to be doing chores.
He has to. He has to be doing some housework. I mean, he can't work for like the first 6 months that he's here until the green card shit comes through. So he's got to be doing something. He's got to contribute. Spotless.
I when I talk about like dating and stuff, I'm like, I'm very much like, I want a partner. I'm like, I want someone who will like do things without being asked. Like, hey, I took care of the dishes for today. I took care of X, Y, or Z. Like, hopefully we've like communicated about like, like how we want it done or whatever, because some people are weird and picky about like, you didn't make the bed such and such way, or you didn't do the dishes such and such way. That usually doesn't, I don't care, but it depends, but generally don't care. But that's like it was an acts of service is the love language. I'm like, I would just, because I do so much of my own shit. I take care of so much of my own shit all the time. I'm like, I would love for someone else to take care of some shit for me.
Yeah. That's what they don't tell you about living alone. It's like, you have your own space, but guess who has to maintain that space? You.
I had a bad non-COVID cold a couple weeks ago in like the middle of November, and I was like, let me go make myself some soup. Let me go tuck myself into bed. Let me order me, Dayquil, NyQuil and stuff. Let me go do all that. I hate this. Yeah. Like, I was so bummed.
No, sounds terrible.
Because there's nothing more you want to do than just absolutely nothing when you're sick. And it would be amazing if, like, I had a gentleman caller who was like, hey, I took care of the apartment and made some soup for you. Now, to be clear, I will do the same for you. It is a trade-off. Sure. I am not like, no, I'm the princess and I just only want to be taken care of. I'm like, no, man, I'm a total workhorse farm girl. I will do all sorts of shit with you. But like, oh my God, I just want someone else to take care of some shit for once. Oh my God.
I mean, I think we all do. Well, maybe not all. There's some people who love being single. Do you people that like being single? All you.
Vaya con Dios. Anyway. So Samantha's getting ready to go to Charlotte's rehearsal dinner, and she's struggling with this bracelet that she's trying to get on. And Smith is about to go out of town for his shoot with Gus Van Sant. He's going to Mexico for a couple of weeks. And he's like, I can't believe you're spending my last, we can't spend my last night together. And she's like, calm down, you're not dying.
And she's trying to get him the fuck up out of there too. She's like they've done the deed, and he, she's like getting ready, and she's like, I need you out of my space. She's trying to shovel him out of the door.
But he proves himself useful because she's struggling with this bracelet clasp, and he just, without asking, this is hot because he's doing something without being asked. Sorry, excuse me. He just, while she's fiddling with it, he just walks up and takes care of it, and now it is like, oh, that is hot. Fuck. All right. It's like just a nice thing. It's just nice. And he puts it on good and tight though. So he's only going to be gone 2 weeks, and she's like, don't do anything I wouldn't do. And that doesn't rule out much, apparently, other than karaoke.
No. Well, yeah, I find that funny because it's like this is a very guy move where it's like, I don't want to claim you in the relationship, but like you can't have fun with anybody else.
Yeah,
while you're gone.
It's funny.
You're not my boyfriend, but like you can't fuck anybody else. But you're not my boyfriend. Just want you to know, like she's trying to make it so clear that they're not in a relationship. But then she's like, hey, but you can't have sex with anybody else while you're gone for 2 weeks. It's like, well, that's not fair, is it?
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because Carrie's like voiceover mentions that Samantha's looking forward to like location shoots with him. But I think you're right. I think part of it is like she just wants him out of her space a little. Like it's not so much like she doesn't want to keep seeing him or having sex with him. It's just like sometimes you need a break from your person.
Yeah, of course. Well, I don't know. It's just like weird because, like I said, she doesn't want him sleeping with anybody else, but she doesn't want him to be her boyfriend either. But like, I feel like if he came back, well, here's the thing too. This crazy thing because like, even though she doesn't want him to be her boyfriend, he's still acting like her boyfriend. Yeah. Like he's not gonna sleep with anybody else while he's gone. Like you can see it in his face that he's not. That wasn't a plan. He's not even thought about it. Like I think it even kind of makes him a little bit happy, a little bit that she's like, don't do anything I wouldn't do, aka, I'll be jealous if you do this.
Yeah, for sure. And then sort of the conclusion, not conclusion, is during Charlotte's, semi-disastrous wedding ceremony. Is she's been trying to get the bracelet off, because it's kind of symbolic of like Smith being too involved, maybe locking her down, and she finally yanks it off in the middle of the ceremony, and it breaks and like goes everywhere, and that's kind of the end of it. And she's sad though, and Carrie's like, oh, from the beautiful ceremony, and Samantha goes, no, my bracelet. It's like, okay.
I mean, it was. I mean, it was like laughing at them too because like after it shatters and where they're like trying to pick up the shit, I'm like, it's gone, it's done. What are you gonna do with all these just like random pearls laying around the fucking floor? I mean, I guess you could turn it into a necklace, but you're definitely not putting that bracelet back together. It's shattered. Like, I mean, all the pearls are gone. Like, it's done.
It's gone.
That's
baby,
done.
gone.
That's a done deal. Yeah, there's a done deal. But wait, was that like another metaphor for like possibly her and Smith's relationship breaking?
Maybe not. I don't know.
How dare you? How would you say that to me?
But speaking of relationships, Steve comes to Miranda and drops Brady off in like a super ugly clown t-shirt from his girlfriend Debbie.
What? Are you saying? What you got against Debbie? What happened? Did you have an encounter with a Deborah of some sort that left a bad taste in your mouth?
Not really.
Okay. I don't know if I believe you. I don't know if I believe you.
It's just I don't know. It's a horrible shirt. Just a terrible shirt for a baby.
No, that's not the shirt. No, you didn't cringe at you didn't cringe at the shirt. You cringe at the name Deborah or Debbie. Listen, I mean, I'm not mad at it. I dated a girl named Deborah. She went by Deb, and she was one of the worst people I ever dated. But
I think it's just a general like wariness of Debs, Deborahs, Debbies. They tend to.
I think like Deborah's were the original Karens. You know what I mean? Like
totally.
Deborah's were known. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like whatever, like in the 70s or maybe like the 80s, Deborah was the Karen, and then it switched. You know?
Yeah. And Debbie also got Miranda an aromatherapy candle, and Steve is like, hey, you guys should really meet. Nice. Yeah, it's nice. I know this is so silly. The whole thing is so silly of Miranda, but like, you know, Steve is like, hey, also you guys should we should set up a time for you guys to meet. He's like, I know you're not 100% comfortable with her around, but she, you know, is around, and I just think it'll make things a little easier. And then at brunch, she tells the girls about that and the candle, and she's like so pissed. And Samantha's like, women with candles replaced women with cats is a new sad thing. Fuck off. Everybody loves cats and everybody loves candles.
First of all, as we have a sponsorship,
as we have a candle sponsorship,
I can't side with that opinion.
No, we do not endorse those comments.
I don't believe it. No, because if that's the same thing, then I guess I'm gonna be a cat person too, because I got candles and shit too. And I fucking love candles. I love a good smell.
No, and people's candle obsession. I don't know. Maybe this was like I don't know, but like people are obsessed with like those Bath and Body Works candles and just candles in general. There's like $150 candles from like fancy fragrance places. That's not what you get with Arlo Australia. They're affordable, and there's a promo code for you at the end of the episode if you stick around. But yeah, this also just the whole like sad lonely person thing is so tired. Like I mean, I know this is so of the era, and like although I have to say conservatives are so hung up on like anytime women are like, yeah, I'm like kind of pro-choice and like happy being on my own, because like, you know, sometimes dudes suck and I'm looking for like the right one, or none at all. They're like, well, go have fun with your like 50 cats. Like it's the ultimate insult. But then like every time they like cut to that woman on like a show, she's like holding 2 cats and she's like, yeah, I fucking love these things. These are great. I love my cats. I'm having a great time. Like I'm like, they can't fathom that you could just be happy like being on your own with or without pets or whatever.
It's gonna fuck up, but it's gonna fuck up the world when they finally find a cat lady that gets married, that gets rid of her cats. They're like, see, all she needed was a good man.
Yeah, that won't happen.
Got rid of her cat. All she needed was
because whatever's in the cat stuff, like obviously you wash your hands, but whatever that like toxin is that like gets in your brain and makes you want to adopt more cats has already happened. That's why you.
This is true.
It's already
well, and that's the thing. So I'm kind of the whole thing too with Miranda that's kind of confusing me, because you would think that as a mom you would want to meet the person that the baby's father is dating, because this person, because like literally he's like, you should meet her. He's around, she's around Brady and she's met her and stuff like that. Like, see how they act together. Like, you would think as a mom, you would want to see that. Like, see how she treats him, see how, how he likes, if he has taken a liking to her, things of that nature. Like, and not even on some jealousy shit, just to make sure that things are on the up and up. Like, he's that Steve person around him,
Because Steve's kind of dumb, like, about people, I feel like. He's
a
like,
fucking Labradoodle. He's a Labradoodle.
He's a Labradoodle of a person.
Everybody. Yeah.
And they all agree, like, no, you shouldn't have to meet the new girlfriend, except for Charlotte. Charlotte's kind of like, there's a baby involved. Charlotte basically said what you said.
The only person that made sense at that table. Everybody else is like, oh, that's bullshit. Why would you meet her? It's like, because your son is around her?
Because, like, Miranda,
you want to protect your baby, like, she could be like beating the shit out of your baby, and you would never know that because you're afraid to meet her. Just not saying that she is, just she could.
No, but like, you gotta check who your baby's around.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how it works.
Right.
And Miranda's like,
your feelings aside.
But Miranda's like, she's using Brady to get to me, and I'm not falling for it. And it's like, get to you for what?
Yeah. What? First of all, what would be so bad about you guys being friends? First of all, like, what would be so terrible about that? Secondly, like, what is her? Okay, if it's some kind of negative ulterior motive, what do you think is happening? You think she's like gonna hit you up for money or something like that? Or what do you think is happening right now? You're a lawyer, so she did try to hit you for money. You know how to get your way out of it. What are you talking about?
I think they get to the heart of it later after this one scene we'll get through first. So Miranda is also getting ready for Charlotte's wedding rehearsal dinner. She's playing with Brady, and Steve comes by with Debbie. Like, she hears him outside her door, and she like panics and tells Magda, she's like, I'm not home, and she just runs and hides in her bedroom. But the toy they need for the baby is in Miranda's room, so she ends up hiding under the bed with her cat. And like, Steve and Debbie have Brady. He drops his pacifier, and like, she has to like throw it out from under the bed. And she hears Debbie call him like Brady-licious, which she like so clearly hates. And then she like, I didn't care for it either. Not my nickname style.
Yeah, not mad at that. Brady-licious? Ugh.
No. See, this is why you have to meet her, for the safety of your baby. Right. And dumb nicknames.
You can tell her, like, listen, hey, listen, like you're a good person. Don't ever call her Brady-licious again. Okay, appreciate it.
Yeah, his name's Brady. But she like crawls out from under the bed. She's like covered in dust, and she's like, Magda finds her. She's like, you should really clean under there more. And so Carrie spots like the lint on Miranda, and she tells her about the encounter. And Carrie's like, you should. Carrie does come around. She's like, you should probably just meet her. And Miranda's like, if I meet her, that makes her real and means Steve has a real girlfriend. And that's the real issue, is Miranda's own like insecurity.
Correct.
But that doesn't matter when you have a baby so much.
Right. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand how you could. I understand where the resistance is coming from because of how she feels about Steve. However, it's not all about you. It's about you and your son, and you kind of need to meet because, also too, you can't really have that kind of resistance if you ain't said nothing to Steve. You still ain't said nothing to him. So you're just going through all this. He had no idea, in theory, and you're like kind of punishing him for things that he doesn't even know is happening. Yeah, it's not fair.
It's Looney Tunes. So literally Looney Tunes. So briefly, I will go into it. That's kind of the end of her storyline, so to speak, other than when they're at the reception and there's other shenanigans earlier in the wedding, which we'll talk about in a second. But Miranda's like, I think I'm over it. I don't. They're gonna do the bouquet toss. And Miranda's like, I'm over it. They're like both like hiding from the bouquet, but of course the bouquet hits Miranda like right in the face, and she's like, all right. And Carrie's like, you're done. She's like, yeah, I'm out.
Oh, by the way, did you hear in the show? Deborah says, hey, let's go to Blockbuster.
Yes! Like, oh, I miss it. Because you know what?
I was like, oh, Blockbuster, like, let's make it up. She said, let's make it a Blockbuster night. That was a thing that people said.
Yeah,
that was a thing that people said. We were like, oh yeah, let's go to Blockbuster. Like, that was like a whole. That was like sometimes those people's like, at least for me growing up, that was like a weekly thing.
Oh yeah,
I went to Blockbuster every Friday, and the only time I didn't get to go to Blockbuster is if my grades were bad. But if they were good, We went to Blockbuster.
We actually, there was for a long time a different, like an off-brand video store, like a local video store. Actually, we had a decent amount of video stores in my hometown, I have to say. There was like one by the not as nice grocery store up on the hill. And that was the closest though for a while. Super frequented there. Blockbuster did come in and we used that one. And there was also a third one that was a really tiny place that had a lot of good offbeat stuff. Like it had some unique options. And I'm almost disappointed we didn't use that one as often. But I know we went there, but like we were little video store sluts, I guess. We just, as a family, just any place we could get a tape, baby, we'll go.
Did you guys ever? I don't know, because there was Blockbuster, and then for a little bit there was kind of its competition, Hollywood Video. Did y'all have a Hollywood Video?
I think the place up on the hill might have been a Hollywood Video, technically. Bit more of a chain, but yeah. We went to that place probably the most. Like we kind of like the guy who ran it was, I don't remember. It's not significant, but he's not a white guy, which was rare in our town, so that just kind of sticks out as memory. I want to say he was maybe more of like a Southeast Asian guy. But he I just, because my brother had a fun chat with him one time. My brother was renting The Man Who Would Be King, which is a good Michael Caine, Sean Connery movie. And what do you call it? And the guy was really impressed that this kind of like younger teenage guy was renting the movie. He was like, "It is a film such as they no longer make," is what the guy said to my brother when he rented it. Nice. But yeah, I love video stores so damn much, because you know what I do now is I waste so much time clicking through like 5 different streaming services trying to pick something, and which is basically you're trying to pick something when you're in the video store, but I think you just feel more of like a time limit, so you kind of like make more of a decision, and you also like can look at the box and kind of get a better sense. And one of my other fondest memories of that Hollywood Video on the hill is going into the horror section and not always being able to rent stuff, but my best friend and I used to see the cover of this box for the movie Motel Hell, and it's like it's like like the neon like signs, and there's like a pig person wearing a pig head on it and stuff like that with a chainsaw, and it looks insane, right? Like it's terrifying.
Movie, but I know I've seen that.
You know the image. You know the image. So finally, after years and years of seeing it, giggling at it, when we were in college, we went there like on a weekend, and we were like, "It is time." And like went and picked it up and rented it, and it is a goofy, bad, 70s, 80s horror flick. Has my favorite joke in the entire world that like we had to pause it. We were laughing so fucking hard. There is a band in it called Ivan and the Terribles, and they're driving their like van past the motel, and there's a spike strip, and right before they get to the spike strip, the driver of the van says, "Hey man, we gotta find a place to crash." Boom, and then the van fucking crashes, and I like laughed for 20 minutes because it was so stupid. Oh, and they're cannibals, by the way. That's the plot of the movie. Is there's the guy who runs the motel makes the best sausage in town, but guess what? The sausage is people. And also, if this is a really, I don't know our audience age at all. Honestly, I haven't checked their analytics in a while, but if you watch Cheers at all, or maybe a Pixar movie, and John Ratzenberger, that's like his first movie. He's one of the band members who is in the car crash.
Nice.
It's I don't remember if he's credited or not. Is it Ratzenberger or Ratzenberger? I might be messing up his name. Cliff from Cheers. Yeah,
we know.
And and every like a voice in like literally every Pixar movie. So
yeah, his most famous was Pork Chop, right?
Yeah, Ham from Toy Story.
Ham.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good times. Gotcha. Anyway, I wish this whole podcast was about video stores. Maybe we should just switch to that. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I mean, like I said, I miss it. It was an event. Like it was definitely like a community event. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause,
Yeah.
like that was also too as a kid. You go in there on a Friday night. You could like it was like you
See
seeing your friends
people.
again. 'Cause, like
Yeah.
their friends, you know, their family would be in there getting video too. So you like, oh, I'll see you later tonight at Blockbuster. You know what I mean? Like it was like, what time are you going? All right, let me know. So I get my parents to go too. You know, like that's also too how you get your crush. You'd be like, oh, what you? You didn't give me the number earlier, but like now that we're here at the video store, let's
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, well.
Well, on to the main event. Our girl
Yes.
Charlotte and Harry are tying the knot, finally. Not finally. This is like 3 months after they got engaged. I think we concluded.
Right. It's not like we've been waiting on this for like a whole season or anything like that. It's literally like 3 episodes.
This happened quick. So
yes.
they're taking their New York Times like wedding announcement engagement photos in Central Park, and she's of course like micromanaging. She's like, you know, smile, okay, looser, but like less teeth, more, you know, on all that stuff. And he's like, I'm trying to look natural, but you're not letting me. But then they like smile and laugh, and he like puts on a genuine smile because he's like, oh, Charlotte, I love you. And she's like, oh, that's the one, turn, quick. Like tries to get the photo. Are you a good like natural smiler in photos? I feel like I tend to like grit my teeth more.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta kind of. I mean, yeah, I think I am. Like, you just kind of gotta figure out what your best smile is, and if you've done that times, if you smiled enough times in the picture, you kind of figure it out by process of elimination. Like, oh, I didn't like myself in this picture. I like myself in that picture, and do the process. But I'm also in the performance arts.
Right. You're also
so
know your angles
like,
and whatnot.
Yeah, that's something that I've had to think about, but I'm assuming if you're a lawyer, you're probably not thinking about that too much, Yeah. It's not like he's in a picture or in papers or something like that all the time. He's not like a famous lawyer or something like that.
Yeah. I just laugh because sometimes I feel like I smile pretty naturally in photos and everything's good, but then other times I feel like I'm like, like just like rictus, like.
Well, I think it also is probably the element of the photos. Like, is this a photo you really want to be in?
Yeah.
Then you'll probably have a nice. If you don't really want to be there, if you're kind of like, you're taking it reluctantly, then it's just gonna show on your face,
There's some group photo I did recently. Actually, it's like at our rap party, for work, and there's like a small group of us like staying later, and so it's like, oh, like take a group photo, and we did, and then the person taking the photo took multiples, and you can see one work friend like his face go from like kind of smiling to like okay, like it just like slowly his smile is fading frame by frame because he's tired of taking the photo. It's really funny.
Yeah, I mean, that's so too. Yeah, that if you're tired of taking photos, or two, like if somebody's taking too damn long to take the damn photo, it's like
you're like,
I can only hold this natural
yeah.
smile for too long. Eventually, it's gonna like my muscles are gonna get tired, and it's gonna go from natural to like, all right, when are we taking this picture?
Yeah.
Like, let's get this shit done. Yeah.
But there's more wedding preparation because we've got our boy Anthony Marantino. Mario Cantone is back. Love him. He's so great. He's on the phone with someone. Yes. Speaking of candles, he's like, don't give me those little like short dick candles. I want real good candles. He's like screaming down the phone. It's great. Yeah. In his element. And so, but Charlotte shows him her dress, and she's like, and we're going to do all these traditional Jewish things at the ceremony, smashing the glass, signing. I'm not sure the name of the book. I didn't write it down, but just doing traditional Jewish things, and going to do the hora, which, if you're unfamiliar, is the lifting up the couple up in each in a chair and like kind of parading them around the room. And he's like, don't fall off the chair. The hora, if you fall off the chair. And he's like, and also keep your legs together when you're up there. I
mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Because listen, one good like thrust into the air sends that dress up, and then there you go.
I actually remember he's on the brain because he's come up like twice at trivia now, Gerard Butler. So he's Scottish. No. So he's Scottish and he's wearing kilts and everything. And I swear at a talk show one time, he was, again, this just stuck in my brain as being so funny. He said he was up, I think like at his brother's wedding or something like that. So he's sitting like up on the altar or whatever in the kilt, and his mom is in the audience, and she's kind of like motioning her hands closed, like to look like prayer hands. He's like, "Oh yeah, I should be like praying or something, right?" And it turned out she was like, "No, close fucking legs." This man spreading in the kilt, and he's a true Scotsman. He was going bare underneath, you know. But yes, if you're wearing any kind of skirt of any kind, doesn't matter who you are, keep your legs closed.
Yeah, or just wear underwear.
Or just wear underwear. Too, you know? That's a big problem solver. But while they're getting excited, the New York Times fact checker calls and confirms the wedding announcement, and they're dancing around. They're all happy, and Harry comes in and catches like the briefest glimpse of her in the dress, and she flips out. She's like, "You can't see me in the dress, it's bad luck!" And like runs into the other room, and Harry's like, "Are all brides like that?" And Anthony's like, "That's nothing. I had a girl in Long Island give herself a stroke, but she pulled it together for the big day."
Yeah, I mean,
so funny.
Do you think that, or do you think you'll like freak out like that about your wedding? Like, do you think if somebody, like if your husband saw you, you know, or soon to be husband saw you in your dress, you think that's bad luck? Would you feel like that?
I don't know. I yes and no. I've had such weird luck over my life that I'm like, part of me is like, you can't be too careful. But I think it kind of plays into how the rest of the ceremony goes, and sort of acknowledging like what matters and what doesn't, you know. I would also just really like, I think it'd be fun to surprise somebody and be like, "Guess who got fucking glammed up, bro?" And then you rip this bad boy off
she
me
wasn't
later.
like in full makeup. That's what I was also thinking too. It's like, why is she freaking out? It's not even like how you really get. It's not like the full.
Yeah, her hair's like in a ponytail. You know, she's not like done up. It's like but it's just, I actually don't know where that superstition started, to be honest. Of like, why is it bad luck to see the bride? Actually, let's Google it right now, because I'm curious. Oh, hiccup,
I don't know.
sorry.
It's probably like something about like, it's probably just some way to keep men off of their wives before the wedding night, so they don't like deflower their goddamn wives.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, here we go. Why is it bad luck?
Way back in the day, like virgins back in the day. Now they're, you know, it's different.
It kind of goes back to when marriages were more arranged, and the bride and groom weren't allowed to see or meet each other at all until they were at the altar. So it's like pre-18th century. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was an attempt to keep the groom from backing out of the wedding upon seeing his unidentified bride. Yeah. So it's basically, if you're a guy, if you're a count or a duke or whatever, and you're in an arranged marriage, but you get there. I mean, Henry VIII only saw the portrait of that fourth wife, Anne of Cleves, and she got there, and he was like, "Whoa, you do not look like your pick. Bye."
See, but that's the thing. The thing about that it doesn't make sense is because, to me, back in those times, right? If you were a duke or like a nobleman or something like that, it's like, yeah, you were married, but like it ain't like you didn't have any concubines. So even if your wife wasn't attractive, you know what I mean? Like you still had women.
You were a man of honor, Chris. You wouldn't want to do wrong by your lady.
King that was a man of name one king that was a man of honor that didn't have other mistresses. Exactly.
I was gonna go King Triton. Exactly. King Triton from the Little Mermaid.
And it can't be a fictional king either. I want an actual king of history, of true live factual history that was faithful to one woman.
I was gonna say King Friday from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Wow, tell us how old you are without telling us how old you are.
I didn't even watch that show, honestly, that much, but I was just trying to think of other funny kings. I was like just trying to think of other funny kings to say.
Rogers was a great man on the show and outside of the show.
Yeah.
You should watch it. It's amazing.
So Charlotte's on edge with the bad luck thing. So she wakes up on the wedding day, which is also the announcement in the New York Times, which I'm surprised she didn't have this with Trey. to be honest.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was thinking the same thing because I was like, you would think that this would be her second time doing it. You would think that, or she wouldn't be like she wouldn't be trying to be so hard to be in the magazine because you think she would have tried to do this with Trey the first
because
time.
Trey's like so old money, and I'm sure Bunny would be like, Charlotte, you look like a harlot sitting in Central Park with my Trey. Like, I'm very surprised that it didn't come up before, but whatever, it doesn't. But the printed newspaper makes it look like she has a mustache, more specifically, a Hitler mustache.
I mean, it's not funny, but it's really funny.
It's not like, funny, but it's so funny. She's like, I can't have a Jewish wedding with a Hitler mustache. I love Charlotte. I love her so much.
Yeah, but here's the thing. But this is why I like them as a couple so much, because Harry's like still like, you don't look like, he's he's honing her in with like humor. He's like, you don't look like Hitler, you look like a Mexican conquistador. But
you look like Frito Bandito. That's what he called it.
Yeah,
that's bad too. None of it's good. I love she calls Carrie. She's like, do you notice it? That's where Carrie is lying on the floor after the bad sex. And she goes, oh, yeah, I see a little something. And Charlotte's like so devastated. She's like, oh, I feel like the bad luck for the wedding is starting. But they get to the ceremony. It's lovely, though. Charlotte looks beautiful. I have to say, she looks gorgeous in this gown. It's so nice. Even with the lunatic Howie mouthing, fuck you to Carrie. But then things start to go bad. A little bit of wine spills on her dress. And while the ring is going on, that's when Samantha's bracelet breaks. It's going everywhere. And then Harry goes to stomp the glass in the Jewish tradition, and it won't break. It keeps not breaking.
Yeah, dude, I was like, damn, bro, you don't know how to stomp a glass.
Like, yeah, bro.
Stomp the glass. That, like, yeah, I was like, what kind of they put under there?
Put your whole leg into it, dude.
Jack Daniels bottle in there.
But then
it shouldn't have taken that many attempts to crush it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. But it finally breaks, and then they go to walk down the aisle, but Charlotte like slips and almost falls off the altar. But
because of the pearls.
On the pearls, she slips on the beads, from
pearls,
from the pearls. But you know who's there to catch her? Harry. He's good dude. Catching.
Did you get the metaphor?
Did you get the metaphor?
I was trying to reverse it, but you got me. You beat me.
because it really, it comes home pretty strong here in the next scene, because Carrie finds Charlotte crying in the bathroom, and Charlotte's like, I feel like it's all been a disaster and that we're cursed. And Carrie's like, no, what are you talking about? Charlotte's like, I wanted everything to be perfect. And Carrie's like, you already had the perfect wedding, and look how it turned out. This is all like a good sign. Bad wedding, great marriage. Like bad dress rehearsal, great show, kind of a thing. And she also reminds me.
I kind of get that. Also, too, points again for Carrie, because she's the second time she had to wrangle Charlotte in from like losing her mind. It's like, dude, you're literally married first. Like, you found the love of your life. You're sitting there crying because it's your second wedding. Like, but you found them. It doesn't matter if it's the second time around. Like, you found them. Then you're having a wedding. Like, you're marrying the person that you love the most in the life, and you're worried about the ceremony not being perfect. Like, who gives a fuck? Yeah,
Carrie's like, you're missing your own wedding because you're so hung up on all the little things going wrong. And she's like, and you have a man there to catch you, and I want that really badly. And I've actually been to a couple of weddings with some hiccups. More recently, a few years ago, in San Diego, some coworker and his husband got married, and it was meant to be an outdoor wedding. It poured rain. Everything had to move inside and all that stuff. My friend's poor husband was feeling very groomzilla. He was not happy that his wedding was inside, but they've been together. It's like, gosh, it's going on like 4 or 5 years now, I think. Happy, all those good things. Same thing. One of my closest friends back home, she had a ton of problems. She had like a problem getting her dress, and like the place they used to like alter it fucked it up, and so that was a whole nightmare. Actually, the groomsman I was assigned as a bridesmaid took off before even all the photos were done, like with the rented suit. Like he didn't even like change, and he showed up super last minute. And this was her husband's friend.
Wow.
The cake topper that they wanted, like the bakery didn't remember to send along. Just lots of like little stupid, little things that are upsetting, but like in the long run, obviously it doesn't matter. It's all memorable. And again, they've been together, oh gosh, like close to 10 years now, I think. 2 kids, having a great time.
Yeah,
it's all those like little things. Like you can plan the most perfect wedding and shit will still go wrong because like people are X factors. What are you gonna do? So that's why I always laugh when I read those like am I the asshole things about people who are like so psychotically like I have to have the perfect picture with all matching bridesmaids. Like, people like they're asking bridesmaids to like, wear wigs if their hair is a weird color or cover up tattoos or do all this, that, and the other thing. And they're like, and I can't get my bridesmaid to do that. So what, but she refuses. So why can't I guess all that stuff? And you're like, who cares? And like people pointed out, like the only person who's really going to look at your wedding photos at all is you. And if that's what you're hung up on instead of, being married to somebody, kind of a problem,
Yeah, kind of a red flag if you care more about the wedding than the actual person that you're marrying. Yeah, big red flag for sure.
Yeah, because again, like I've said before, like someone was asking me about this semi recently too. They're like, "Do you have like what like dream wedding like picture things?" I was like, honestly, not really. I'd like want a nice ceremony with like nice vows to have something word based because I'm a wordy, talkative person, and I would sort of assume I'm going to find a similar type of person. So I'd like us to write some nice vows, maybe. But I don't even have like flowers in mind, like as far as like or colors or any of that kind of stuff. Or people, because I've known people who are like, I've been picturing purple and gold for my wedding or like blue and whatever, all the color themes or theme wedding things, or I want invitations to look like this and flower centerpieces to look like that. For me, I'm like, I want to marry the feller in a nice ceremony, and maybe even that's kind of just small, and then mostly like throw a fucking raging party. That's like my goal. It's like that's where all my money would go. I'd be like, we're just gonna get some killer food, some killer booze, and a good DJ, and just boom, that's it. And that's kind of like the extent of my wedding planning, like
I like
fantasy process.
Most of the dopest weddings I've been to weren't like the wedding, the ceremony. It was the reception after.
Yeah,
it was like,
exactly.
That's
now the only actual
that's what people are going to remember more than the wedding. They're going to remember the ceremony.
Yeah. Well,
the
reception, yeah. Because also I will say one true like fantasy, like if I had to like commit to like a theme thing and like a money's no object and you can like do whatever you want, get married at the Magic Castle. Take it over for like a thing, have magicians fucking everywhere. Not fucking everywhere.
Around everywhere.
I want magicians around. And after
fantasy, but I mean, I'm sure this is LA. You could probably make it happen.
I can probably make both happen.
Yeah.
But like, have the ceremony probably like in their big theater, the exchange vows, and then you have dinner, and then you just go around the Magic Castle all night watching magic shows, getting drunk and partying. I guess the only problem is there's no dance floor situation. I know people want to dance at weddings, so it's like the only downside to that like fantasy.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: if you're having it in California, depending on what time of year, you make a dance floor or a stage outside. I'm sure there's some room, like turn the inner parking lot into that or something. Who knows? There's ways on that.
But that's like if we like marry a millionaire, or like who was I saying last episode? Andrew Garfield, and I like pull it off and tie the knot. And he's like, I love magic, Elizabeth. And I'm like, I'm so glad you said that, Andrew Garfield, because guess what? But back to Charlotte's wedding. Do you have any wedding fantasies before we go on? Sorry, I feel like no one ever asks guys, but it's because you never do. Sorry.
I just hope that I just hope that whoever I'm marrying is not a fucking bridezilla, or she doesn't think that we need to spend $50,000 on a wedding. Like,
Yeah, see, I'm like, we gotta do this puppy on the cheap. Like, do I want a nice gown dress? Yeah, but like, I'm not spending. I'm not spending $5,000, $10,000. You know.
Yeah, like that's my dream is to have a woman that's not like not cheap, but just frugal.
Yeah.
When it comes to the wedding, you know, they're not, you know, like it's gonna be nice, but like it don't have to be, you know, we don't have to have 200 plus people at the wedding. Like let's take it down a notch.
But anyway, they're at the reception, and this is where Howie gives his awkward best man speech, and Harry gets the mic away from him, and then Charlotte tells Harry about Carrie's like theory about, you know, kind of bad wedding, great marriage, and he's like, well, I think Howie just got us to like our silver anniversary. But then Miranda's giving her maid of honor speech, which I'm surprised it was Miranda doing the speech. I kind of would have thought Carrie.
I'm surprised it was Miranda for the maid of honor. To be honest with you, I wouldn't. I would. You think she would have made Carrie the maid of honor? Honestly,
I kind of thought so too. But maybe in her heart of hearts, Charlotte kind of knows Miranda would come through in like a true maid of honor situation if she needed her to. Whereas, unfortunately, we know Carrie is a little not as reliable.
Yeah, those are she is more. I mean, I'll give you that because Miranda is definitely. I would put my life in her hands more than I would put it in Carrie's hands. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. But then this piece of paper
but they're also, but it's just, I mean, again, she is the more dependable one, however, but I just thought that because usually when people they choose, you know, best men or bridesmaids, usually like best friends, and I feel that Carrie and Charlotte are definitely better friends.
I think Charlotte is Carrie's best friend, but Carrie's not Charlotte.
You're right, but yeah. Oh,
sorry, other way around. Carrie is Charlotte. Yeah, I said that right. Carrie is Charlotte's best friend. Charlotte is not Carrie's best friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Either way.
But either way, Miranda's piece of paper with the speech catches on fire. She has to get like water thrown on her.
And it started out like it was a great speech. Started out too. I was like, man, lovely. It was pretty good. It was really good. Sweet. I was actually surprised that Miranda could pull out those kinds of like nice words. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it sucks.
But then Charlotte's like, well, I think Miranda just got us to our 50th anniversary, and you know, she and Harry like have a good laugh about it. It's so sweet. And then we do get to the horror. Everybody's having a good time dancing, and Charlotte's kind of freaking out on the chair, and it goes well, even though Harry says the one thing you're not supposed to say, which is what's the worst that can happen, which is like a guarantee, like bad luck, like generator. But
that's everything that's about to happen right now.
Yeah, but luckily it all goes fine, and they have a good time. And then Charlotte throws the bouquet and accidentally nails Miranda in the face, but she didn't mean to. I keep hearing the bouquet tosses going out of style too, by the way.
You think?
Oh yeah. Well, my sister-in-law didn't do it at her wedding to my brother. I think my one friend who was married slightly more recently, she didn't do it either. It's kind of like you know, they do the bouquet toss and like the garter toss thing, like for some people they're not as into it because it feels a little too old school. Like the bouquet is like, all right, you know, single ladies or ladies with boyfriends, you better get married, like, you know, if there's something like sort of backwards about the bouquet thing. And then the garter toss is depending on how you do it, with the groom going up under the skirt in front of everybody is a little weird.
Yeah, last wedding I went to, they definitely did both of those things, and I was just like, "Oh, okay, we're doing." I don't know. Yeah, well, I'm surprised that. I mean, the garter thing I understand, but the catching of the bouquet, that I never thought that would go out of style. It always just seems like, yes, there's implications in it, but it's like, you know, it's just like a fun thing to do. Like people seem to have fun doing it. You know what I mean?
Well, my brother joked, he's like, I don't want to do that. He's like, it's so like I'm getting up there and checking things out at the wedding in front of everybody. Ew. That's private time, you know? Like that's not
it's not the weirdest tradition. There's in some cultures the guests are invited to wait outside of the the couple's bed, consummate, and listen and enjoy that. So, you know, I'll take the garter belt over that. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
If you invite me to a wedding and that's your tradition, I'm never talking to you again. I'm leaving.
Well, and although the garter belt thing, it kind of backfired at my one friend's wedding because the groom tossed it, but like it landed in the hands of like her underage cousin just like by accident, and like the girl who catches the garter is I think supposed to dance with the groom or
no, so whoever catches the bouquet is supposed to dance with the person that catches the garter.
Oh right, okay, so the person who caught the person who caught the bouquet was like a teenage girl, and the person who caught the garter was like a grown man, and so it was like I think usually the idea is like, oh, you'll get like your single friends, but it was like family, and so they just like kept it like, haha, we'll dance a little on the dance floor, but like this went weird, and we didn't mean it to. But maybe that's not a tradition for me, because guess what? If you don't do it, then that doesn't happen. So it's all good.
Correct. But correct.
That's the conclusion, and Charlotte and Harry are married. Yay! Yep. So happy for them. I love them.
I love them so much. I was very much enjoyed it. Yeah, I was hoping that they would end up together. So it's nice to see they got married.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's nice.
I'm ready to see what other adventures they go on.
We love love.
I mean, we only got like 10 episodes left, so I guess we won't get to see much of it, but it's nice.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like, it's tricky when you get a couple together. How do you keep things interesting? Like I've been casually rewatching Downton Abbey, and I'm still like in the good seasons, but eventually gets to the point where like, so the one like valet guy ends up in jail because he's accused of murdering his wife, and then that takes like literally like a whole season to resolve, and it's kind of annoying, but you kind of get why it takes that long. But then like less than 2 seasons later, the woman he's dating in the show, she ends up in jail for being accused of murder. And it's like, to keep them apart is like the only thing they could think of to do to add conflict to their relationship storyline. It's just by constantly sticking them in jail for like season after season, and it's really, really stupid. It's like, oh brother.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, so it's hard to do conflict
about them is. Yeah, well, the good thing about this whole thing is like, as far as these two characters go, there wasn't like a will they, won't they for years.
True.
Thing, throughout the season. So like now it's like, and it's only a few episodes left, so not much that they have to work with, other than like, because it was like, it's not the Ross and Rachel thing where it was like throughout the entire series is a will they, won't they. I mean, because as much as I like Friends, I got fucking sick of that.
Yeah, and people do like, it's hard. You want, it's such a hard thing to keep your characters apart as long as possible while maintaining like the will they, won't they aspect. But you gotta eventually put them together. Like, it's just how it works.
Even if it's only briefly.
Even if it's only briefly.
Together, like, it's gotta happen. That's for sure.
But anyway, enough TV writing advice from us. Chris, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on all the social medias at Christopher T. Mack on all social medias.
And you can find me at Elizabeth Movies on all social media stuff. And you can find our show on Instagram at Show Me What Podcast, and that will take you to all the other all the other social medias. And as we mentioned earlier, if you were a good listener and stuck around, we've got Arlo Australia candle promo code. Show Me Miss, all one word. Save 10% on candles. Because just because it's after the holidays doesn't mean you can't buy yourself some candles. Maybe you screwed up the gift in the first place. You should have just got a candle from Arlo Australia in the first place. Did you ever think of that?
Or maybe you forgot to get somebody a gift and you want to get them something.
You got to make it up to them before the new year. Only a few days to do that. Hop on. And actually, we will see you in the new year with another episode. So until then, have a good rest of 2022.
Like and subscribe.